What's up, everybody? It is your boy here, Controversy. And today, guys, I'm going to be doing a review to Will Cherry's debut album, Burgundy. And I want to give a little bit of insight on this album and who this artist is. So, Will Cherry is a 23-year-old rapper hailing from Cleveland, Ohio. He's quite local, and he's a local rapper. He's not mainstream yet, but he's like known in his area. And I came across this artist and his album from his manager, Andrea Webb, who sent me an email. She said that she came across my channel and that she was asking if I could review his new album, Burgundy. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll do it, because like I'm always looking for artists and a new artist to react to and or review, their music. So I thought this was pretty cool. So I accepted it. Yeah, sure, I'll review it. And she also gave me some insight on the album, saying that Burgundy, the album title, is a metaphor for dried blood, essentially and also an untouchable source of inspiration. And in the email, she also put like I think something that Will Cherry said in the interview. He was talking about the album. He said that hip hop has done a great job of telling these stories of loss and grief, and how he essentially wanted to incorporate those two themes in this album. And I'm gonna be honest with you, when I was hearing the album, there was a lot of themes of loss and grief. I can definitely hear that. But yeah, man, Burgundy, man, the production of this album is a really trap oriented sound. I can tell that this dude is quite influenced by Travis Scott, especially in the production part of it, because like there's a lot of the production consists of a trap oriented sound mixed in with this acoustic guitar, a tambourine, and this really strong sonic electro sound, and this really strong electric sound can be seen in songs like Trust, which is one of my favorite songs off this album. And so essentially, I loved the production. It was great. It definitely did fit in well with Will Cherry's amazing melodic flows. I feel like, and I was getting I can tell that he's highly influenced by Travis Scott and Lil Uzi Vert, and maybe even Rod Wave. Rod Wave tends to have these really soothing, catchy melodic hooks in his music. He's known for having a lot of emotion in his music, and Will Cherry is no exception to that. In this album, he incorporates a lot of emotion, talking about themes of loss and grief. Essentially, he's experienced a lot of loss and grief in his life. Songs like Wine, the third verse, and Grapevine and Etta tend to essentially just show the loss and grief that he's experienced in his life. In these songs, he talks about how he lost his dad, and in Wine, he talks about the untimely death of his dad, how his dad died when he was young, and how he's seen a lot of people die, during his youth. And in Grapevine, he again mentions his dad, on how that his dad wasn't present, and that he didn't have a father figure in his life, and that kind of like set him down. It kind of made him lose himself. He became more distant. He stopped chasing his dream, and he just kind of like went down a bad road, essentially. And this leads on to the song Etta, where he honestly just incorporates the emotion of it. Is absolutely like, wow, like I could feel this song. I could feel like the pain in his voice. He's quite expressing, and I can tell that his main objective with this album was definitely to show these themes of loss and grief. He was trying to make this be the prevalent thing on this album. And Etta, he talks about how, he just kind of just stopped chasing his dreams. He lost his path. Essentially, the loss of his dad and affected him in a really negative way. And this song, and it kind of seems that his dream was to be an astronaut. I don't know if this is true or not. I'm just gonna say that maybe, because like in the song Etta, he talks about flying away on a spaceship. Astronauts tend to fly away on spaceships. And to leave this world, to go to a world that's filled with happiness, where he's partying and just no worries, And similar enough. The beat and Edda is a trap oriented beat, but then it switches, and I really did notice that for most of the songs there was a lot of these like unexpected beat switches. The beat just ended up switching abruptly, and I didn't really have a problem with it. They're just, some songs that I had a problem with it, but it wasn't really that big of a deal. And when Lauren Chia comes in on Edda, I was like, oh my lord, it's just, she absolutely amazing. Her smooth melodic tone fits in greatly with that ukulele, like wow. And she talks about, in the first lines, she talks about singing to astronauts. And similar enough, I'm gonna leave a link to Will Cherry's Spotify page, link down below, so you guys can go check him out. In the Spotify banner, he has a picture of an astronaut, so I'm guessing that he probably wanted to be an astronaut before the music. I'm not so sure, but I'm guessing. But as a result, he couldn't maybe chase that dream. The loss of his dad just really affected him greatly. But yeah, I feel like Will Cherry does a really good job on expressing the emotion and pain in this album. I just find it absolutely amazing on how he has the strength to just talk about these really interpersonal, how he has the strength to talk about these personal sub themes in his life. His dad dying, it's quite powerful. The fact that I respect that. I respect that it takes a lot of guts to talk about something personal like that. But yeah, and every song just has one thing in common: it's filled with a lot of emotion. Yeah. And but aside from talking about grief and loss, there's also these themes where Will Cherry feels triumphant. He feels confident. Songs like Death Proof, the first two verses of Grapevine, and My Type tend to essentially show Will Cherry being triumphant. He's confident. He feels that he's unstoppable. He's death proof. Nobody can stop him. He feels that his city has his back, that they appreciate him. And yeah, he just basically feels confident, So there's definitely times in the album where he's feeling confident in himself and his ability. And also there's these themes of romance, songs like Flip and Froze and Perfect tend to talk about themes of love and romance. Especially in Flip, Will Cherry talks about he's basically just like reminiscing in the song, talking about the time when he would call his girl on her flip phone, making sure she got home safely, and Froze is like a flip side to Flip. Get it? Flip side to Flip. Because in Froze he talks about being distant. He talks about that he's been too focused on the money and on his own life that he hasn't really been able to reconnect with his girl. And I could honestly just relate to this song Froze. I could relate to it a lot because he talks about wanting to be with her, wanting to be more than just friends. Wanting to start a relationship. He wants to start a relationship with her, and I honestly wanted to do that too with Katya. For the people that know or that don't know, Katya was a girl who was one of my friends. I mean, she still is, but we just don't talk that much anymore. We became distant. And yeah, in the end I got friend zoned, and yeah, but whatever, we're not talking about me, man. Okay, we're talking about Will Cherry. And yeah, there's in Perfect, he basically, sorry about that. I accidentally played the song. I'm right here just going through the track list. But in Perfect he talks about his girl and how he adores her, he loves her, he would do anything for her, and how she's perfect, but there's also times in the album where Will Cherry feels like he can't trust people. He feels like he can't trust maybe certain people in his life. He feels like there's people out to kill him or to hurt him. Okay, not to kill him, but there's people out to hurt him. Songs like Trust, Vancouver tend to really convey that. There's times where he feels that there's people out there that are trying to hurt him. They're criticizing him. They're trying to, sort of derive him from his dream or take him away from his dream of being an artist. But he's just saying he basically just does a comeback saying like, look, no, I'm just gonna ignore them. I know there's people out there that maybe don't like me and want to hurt me, but I'm just gonna keep on focusing on my money. I'm gonna keep on getting it. And yeah, much respect, gotta get my grind on. I'm not gonna let anybody mess me up or get in the way. But overall, I feel like this album was amazing. The production was great. Will Cherry's amazing melodic vocals were quite amazing. His flow is absolutely astonishing. I can tell there's a really strong Travis Scott, Lil Uzi Vert, and Rod Wave influence, and much more, as well as Marvin Gaye. And the features were also pretty good too. I did love Young Baby Tate's hard-hitting verse on My Type. It was amazing. But yeah, overall, I feel like this was a pretty good album, a pretty good debut, in my opinion. I feel like Will Cherry definitely put a lot of effort in this. I did enjoy this album a lot, one thing I did kind of have a problem in, and this was just for one song, in Vancouver, the beat switch. I just don't like how because I know there's a lot of beat switches in this album. There's some songs where the beat tends to switch all of a sudden from a trap oriented sound to a more melodic tone. Essentially, in Vancouver, I didn't like the beat switch, because Will Cherry kind of starts off with this sort of subdued, quiet type of flow. His voice is kind of like deep, sounding like Rick Ross in a way. And then the beat kind of switches all of a sudden, and then he starts kind of like speeding up a little bit, and it just kind of, I don't know, it just kind of threw me off, and it was quite it wasn't annoying, or just, I don't know, I just kind of didn't like that. I feel like Vancouver was already a good song. There wasn't no need to switch up the beat or anything like that. But yeah, no, there's quite a variety of flows in this album, so I definitely have to give some props to Will Cherry for that. I like how he uses a lot of flows, a lot of emotion, and honestly, this album was quite insightful, but overall, I thought this was a great debut by Ohio rapper Will Cherry. I just had that one problem, it was just the Vancouver song. I didn't like how the beat kind of switched abruptly all of a sudden. But overall, man, I thought this was a pretty good album, a great debut, and I feel like if Will Cherry keeps up this type of work, he could be well on his way to being one of the big names in the industry. I feel like he can definitely cross over to the mainstream if he keeps this type of work. That's why I'm going to give this album a 10 out of 10. I quite enjoyed it. I thought it was great. The production was strong, amazing, hard-hitting lyrics, and it just had a variety of flows by Will Cherry. And yeah, I loved it. But yeah, 10 out of 10. Tell me what you guys think about this album. Have you heard it? Have you heard of Will Cherry before? And if you haven't, go check him out right now. Link in the description below to his new album, Burgundy, which is on Spotify. And yeah, comment down below on what other reviews you would like me to do next. And I'll see you guys in the next video.